Hey. Welcome to this week's edition of It's Not My Fault. The video's coming out so late. They released the Steadfast Steward update really late. Week edition of Steadfast Steward update. We have the 5th week coming out now. If you would like to see me talk about the other 4 patches, those are all on my channel if you would like to look at those. I'm looking at these patch notes for the first time. I haven't seen any of the videos or in this video. I haven't seen them at all. Looking at them kind of live just to give you guys kind of a mindset of somebody that has like a lot of hours in this game. If you don't know who I am, I stream every day, twitch.tv/MarinaHawk, including right after I'm done recording this video. I will be streaming. Everything you need is in the description. These patch notes, my Discord, Darkest Dungeon Discord, etc. Yeah. So I have like 3,300 hours, something like that, in this. This week is the Runaway's Arsonist apparently path, as well as some trinket updates. All I've read is just this little summary, just to see kind of roughly what we're going in. I believe this makes Runaway the canonical main character of Darkest Dungeon 2 due to the fact that this is now her 3rd straight week where she's had an update on the Steadfast Steward update, which admittedly is kind of weird. Because all the other heroes were either done in one path or done in 1 week or in 2 weeks, and then now we're on week 3 and still have Orphan to go. So I wonder why. It's fine. I'm not complaining or anything, but I do wonder why Runaway specifically is taking so long. Maybe they'll say it in these patch notes. I don't know. Another reminder also that the hero origin skin packs finally out. We've heard about it for a long time. This is their nice little graphic of what everybody looks like. It's for free on Steam. I believe it's everywhere but console right now. I think there's some weird stuff with Epic Games where you can't use it on the experimental branch, I believe. But yeah, it's free. And it's cool. It's nice to finally see everybody, especially if I've heard it for some time. I'm excited to try these out. These will probably be my main skins for quite a while, so that'll be fun. I'll also be trying out whatever Arsonist and everything is. Eventually, I will make a video, probably closer to when the Steadfast Steward update is done. And whenever it comes out to live, I'll make a video talking about all the paths, all the updates. About like what I think about all of them, kind of in general. Runaway specifically, since we're talking about her, the Wander Runaway changes are interesting. Nothing super big on that. The biggest thing really about it was the cauterize change. Cauterize healing somebody off of death's door if they don't have a bleed, which I think is really nice. It's a really nice quality of life thing. Although being kind of small. And then the smokescreen change, where smokescreen was a 2-turn cooldown, only when you master it, and it was a 1 unmastered, but they took that back. I don't mind that as an idea, meaning like, because there are some skills that are extremely efficient when you master them. Just off the top of my head, like double tap sharp shot. It gives you extra damage, gives you a combo on the second shot, and gives you an execute. Not that I think that's an example of an ability that should have a long cooldown. That's not what I mean. I just mean that's kind of an efficient upgrade. Like meditate with duelists, just from the nature of going from dodge to dodge plus. But I don't hate that idea, but I don't like that being on Runaway, because at least before we get into all these path reworks, kind of all she had was smokescreen as far as consistently. I know there's a lot of people that didn't like her. We'll see after the reworks how everything goes. Survivor I love. Survivor's a really interesting path. It gives you a lot of options on things that you're able to do, and it's just really cool in general. Yeah, I'll go over them eventually at some point in the video. So let's go over Runaway changes. Survivor, Hearthlight and Hearthlight Plus share cauterizes effects and animations as the path skill no longer targets enemies. That kind of makes sense, because Hearthlight, when she was healing herself, kind of looked like she was smoke screening herself. The cauterize, I think, makes a little bit more sense. So, Arsonist. This path no longer has a 25% chance of gaining 3 burns to start. Yeah, so this is all just the free stat. This is just the free stat stuff that she got that they're trying to take away from path, so no longer has that. This path has +1 burn del and +2 speed to a max of 3 stacks. If the arson has burn at the end of the round. Oh, okay. These buffs are lost if the arson has no burn end of the round. Oh, okay. I think one of the funny things that you can see about Red Hook, which they tend to do sometimes, which I totally get, is when they come out with a new idea, they keep doing that idea but in different places. So you saw it with with Icar on Abomination. They came out with a dot ability that doesn't do like flat damage, it only does the dot damage. And then they added it to the Virago, and then they added it to Alchemist. So it's funny to see them like get an idea and be like, okay, let's put that in the game, and then put it in different places. I'm not criticizing. I genuinely think it's funny. You can really see like a hyper fixation kind of aspect to it, and you can definitely see the same thing here with this like this high risk, high reward sort of thing where they came out with it with Intrepid, and then they came out with Vanguard that's kind of the same thing as far as like getting stacks and having a negative to it. And then they came out with Soloist, I believe, at the same time or near the same time. And then even like Warlock even a little bit. So it's funny to see, and I'm not criticizing. I think it's good to see them go to that well. I like these playstyles in general just because I mean they're kind of more for somebody that has a lot of hours in this game. I don't think that every path needs to be like this, but I do think having paths that are kind of like high risk, high reward are a lot of fun. For me, at least, I enjoy them. I think there should still be simpler paths and stuff in the game, but it is. I do like these high risk, high reward kind of stuff. Um, this one doesn't seem too high risk to be honest. I mean, I guess she's constantly burning herself, but +1 burn down, +2 speed. That could be pretty crazy. So this is a path that you do have to interact with a little bit. We'll see how often she can be burned, I guess. I don't know if this is a brawl friendly path. Obviously it is, but we'll see. I assume there's going to be ways for her to still burn herself. I guess they kept that motif. Much of the previous Arsonist consistency with burn application has been folded up into Wanderer's adjusted Hearthlight and stealth synergies. The Arsonist has been retooled as a high-risk, mid-ranks damage roll that leans into self-immolation angle with guaranteed self-burn effects that fuels other skills. Stealth synergies and certain consistencies have been sacrificed for damage and unusual burn manipulation options, as your path says everything burns. Mid-ranks damage roll. Interesting. So more like Dragonfly, sort of. Something like that. Backdraft is now a path skill. Backdraft and Backdraft Plus launch ranks are 2-3. Backdraft and Backdraft Plus target all enemies with burn. They do not interact with damage modifiers such as tokens or trinkets. Okay. They double the burn on the Runaway after use. Oh, okay. They deal 50% of remaining burn on the Runaway as damage to all targets, and then Master, it's 75%. Backdraft is one of the primary outputs for the Arsonist self-burn, gaining damage based on her self-immolated state. Does this not have a cooldown? I guess we'll see. When I look in game, we'll see. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, I haven't looked at any of these patch notes or anything like that. I like to see them kind of react on the fly, but that doesn't have a cooldown, then you're just spamming that, right? I wonder if that has a cooldown or not. Doubles the burn on the Runaway. So that's good for keeping the stacks up. What if you can resist it or not? Controlled burn is no longer path skill. Controlled burn, true to its name, does not engage with the self-burn mechanics of the Arsonist. We felt it is important to retain a method of safely applying burn without igniting the Arsonist as well, just in case. So that makes sense. Dragonfly Plus no longer have 33 burn piercing, which they had on the old Arsonist. Dragon Plus now apply 2 burn to the Runaway per target hit. This cannot be resisted and is affected by any dot modifying buffs and effects. What are dot modifying buff effects that would be on her? I don't know off the top of my head. Apply 2 burn to the Runaway per target hit. Interesting. Cannot be resisted. So one of the things about old Arsonist was kind of similar to Ravager, where it's like if you can get them high burn resist, everything like her being burned obviously kind of didn't matter. So the fact that this can't be resisted is kind of interesting. I wonder. I wonder if the knitted blanket, her trinket is just not gonna be good on this path, or if they're gonna change it. I don't know. Dragonfly crit reduced from 15% to 5%. It seems kind of crazy. I don't know. That seems kind of crazy. Oh, I guess that was our Arsonist thing, huh? Right, because Arsonist had higher crit chance. I guess it makes sense, but it feels like a drop. Damage goes up. Firefly and Firefly Plus no longer have the burn piercing. Firefly and Firefly Plus now apply 2 burn to the Runaway. Cannot be resisted and is affected by any dot modifying buffs and effects. Okay. Keep in mind also that every time you have one of these stacks for the Arsonist being burned at the end of the round, you get +1 burn dealt. So that's worth considering. So that means, I mean, assuming, wasn't it 4 burn? Wasn't Dragonfly 4 burn on Master? So you could do 7 burn to 2 targets in theory. I wonder if it says +1 burn dealt, so that makes me think not to her, but maybe it does. Who knows? So it seems like this path, if you can continue the burning and stuff, which seems like there's going to give you some options to do that. Seems like you could have a really, I mean, +6 speed too with 3 stacks. Seems like you'd have a really high ceiling. I wonder how often you're going to be able to do this stuff, like in an average fight, though. Yeah, because it would take you, I mean, it would take you 3 rounds to get the stacks, implying you never mess up. I wonder if the average fight is long enough for you to get a lot of value out of it. Where was I? Firefly burn reduced from 3 to 2. Firefly plus crit increased from 20% to 10%. I assume that's a typo. I assume it's supposed to be decreased. And it's not like, yeah. Because it was 20% before. Yeah. So that was a decrease. Firefly burn reduced from 5 to 4. Dragonfire Firefly have been adjusted to support Arsonist self-burn mechanics. Firestarter is now a path skill. Firestarter and Firestarter Plus target all enemies with burn. Okay, so similar to Backdraft. Firestarter and Firestarter Plus copy the burn from all targets to the Runaway. It's 1 stealth and 1 speed. So you would backdraft. Do you backdraft to put the burn that's on her, you put it on the enemies, and then you Firestarter to put the burn that's on the enemies back to her. I'll have to see how that... I don't know if that's good or not. It must be. I mean, it's a high risk thing, so we'll have to see. Grants 1 stealth, 1 speed. I assume that's 1 speed token. Firestarter has been reworked to provide an alternative method of accruing large amounts of burns on the Arsonist at a risk. Yeah, it sounds risky. Again, I wonder if that's another one. It does say copy the burn, so it makes me think it's not resisted. I mean, that might be one of those that's might have to play it to really get like the flow of it. But yeah, I don't see either of these having cooldowns. Maybe the cooldown share the Wanderer. Yeah, we'll look at that in game. Hearthlight is now a path skill. Hearthlight and Hearthlight Plus target a single enemy. Hearthlight and Hearthlight Plus require the Runaway have burn, cooldown of 2. Transfer the Runaway's remaining burn to the target. Hearthlight consumes any Arsonist buffs to heal 10% per buff. Hearthlight Plus consumes any Arsonist buff to heal 20% per buff. So it's like, I was gonna say coup de grace on Intrepid, which coup de grace on Intrepid gets rid of, like, just resets her stance, just in case you get hit. Not her stance, her passive effects. So I guess it's like that, but with an extra bonus. 60%, I mean, in theory, it's a 60%, it's a 60% heal on Hearthlight Mastered with three stacks. But you also are giving up, what is that, plus 3 burn and plus 6 speed. I guess she gets really good value out of Swig now, huh? Yeah, Arsonist seems like it does really well with Snappy Swig, because it seems like, in theory, it'd at least be relatively easier to get her to that 10 speed, so that could be interesting. Placing any remaining burn and sacrifice accrued Arsonist buffs to quickly recover health. And it does transfer burn to the target, too. Yeah, that seems... I wonder if that's... Because I know with Intrepid specifically, that feels... Intrepid, it feels a little more like... I mean, it is nice to have that safety net of, like, if you're worried about you're going to get hit really hard. So I want... But I feel like in practice on Intrepid, I don't know, at least in my experience, I don't use a lot of... I don't use coup de grace at all. I don't even have it on my bar. But Hearthlight, that's 20% is a good heal. It is a good heal. It is only on her, I guess. So I wonder how useful that would be. I wonder if Run and Hide is something you use on this or not, or that this is like the same. This is like how you get basically how you get her health back. Ransack's no longer path skill. The Wanderer version of Ransack provides a degree of self-defense is otherwise missing from this path, and it no longer needs to suffer the previous reduced damage. So this is you can stealth her off a combo. So you can stealth her off a combo, or you can use Firestarter to do that. Okay. Searing Strike and Searing Strike Plus no longer have burn piercing. Searing Strike Plus launch ranks change from 1-2 to 2-3. So they really don't want to be in. So you don't want to be in 1 or 4. You do want to be in the middle. Searing Strike and Searing Strike Plus now match the Wanderer's version burn values and combo effects. They don't benefit from stealth. Searing Strike Plus now apply 2 burn to the Runaway. These cannot be resisted as affected by any dot modifying buffs and effects on the Runaway. Okay. Damage increase though. So this goes from for what it's worth, it goes from a 6 crit to a, what is that, 11 crit? That's a pretty big jump. Yeah, I guess if the crit chance is only 5% and 10%. I guess it's just, you really just get the burns however you want to. Yeah, I'll have to look at the tooltips. Dev note, Searing Strike has been adjusted to not only serve the Arsonist mechanics, but allow use from farther back in the ranks, as Arsonist is less suited to rank 1 combat. Does give it a bit of overlap with Firefly, but the two remain differentiated from the reach and differences in direct damage output when needed. Yeah, it's a good point. There is kind of overlap with Firefly. I mean, I could see you going both, and one just going for one for if you need more damage and one if you need to hit the back. I feel like it more likely you probably pick one and then pick the rest of your team based around what you don't have. Like if you have Firefly, you have the range, which means you probably need things to hit the front better, or vice versa with if you're running Searing Strike. I feel like that's probably more likely. Carved Toy. Okay, so they did rework her trinkets. Okay. Carve Story rework to plus 15% when stealth. Stealth has stealth. Plus 15, whatever. I guess that's damage. Plus 25% debuff as your piercing when target is burned and gain when moved by enemy daze or taunt. Is that 100% chance of daze or taunt? I mean, I guess other than the resist. Debuff for S piercing is really, really good on her. When target has burn. I mean, that's really good for like bosses for sure. Yeah, 25% burn rest piercing is really good. Interesting. Knitted blanket. Rework to gain on burn resist stealth. Plus 1 burn dealt when target has negative token and when stress damage burn 1. Interesting. So this is on burn resist. So this is something you don't want to run on Arsonist, but it sort of is because she could also burn in theory. So you're probably not running this on burn resist, but interesting. Pile of Ash rework to win moving dodge or dodge plus. Apply to attacker when missed shuffle. Oh, interesting. And gain when hit knockback 1. Pile of hurt. She gets knocked back when 1. I wonder if that's that bad. Probably not, because you have ransack. Gameplay. Disable the 1.5. Actually, yeah, let's look at Runaway before we get into this. So, Arsonist. I had it up just so I had it up. Okay, so can we compare it to Wanderer? Okay, so our Arsonist is on the left, so does not gain the stealth value. It still does get the combo value. I don't know if comparing it to Wanderer is really gonna help too much, I guess, but again, this is non-resistible burns. Yeah, I really wonder about the Searing Strike. I wonder about Searing Strike and Firefly. I feel like you gotta pick one, probably based on the rest of your team. They have the same combo. It gets burned either way. Obviously, Searing Strike's way more damage. Melee, I don't know if that helps at all. But yeah, this might be another one where you kind of have to play. This one does have a cooldown though. Does Backdraft? No, Backdraft's different, right? Okay. I was wondering if Backdraft had the clear cooldown thing. Heal 10% per Arsonist buff. What is it? Does it say anything about the Arsonist buff? I guess. Oh, yeah, here it is. Arsonist burn effect cannot be resisted and are affected by dot modifiers. Arsonist no burn when the round ends. Okay. I mean, Smokescreen is such a good ability. Yeah, like, I guess the problem with Runaway, quote unquote, is like she still has some really good abilities. So that even if they're not changed by the path, like Smokescreen, Cauterize, you might want to run them anyways. That means you have to decide how you're running here, what they're running with everything else. Transfer burn to target. Gain on hit. So if it misses, it doesn't burn. Would that be a downside? Kind of a bit of a downside, I guess. Because again, this could be, with 3 stacks, Master Dragonfly could be 7 burn to the front 2 targets. And that's not even counting like Swig or like anything else. So that could get pretty crazy. Again, the question remains, how often are you actually getting like 2 or 3 stacks in a fight? 2 would be pretty easy. 3 and then like keeping it up would be kind of difficult. Yeah, this is one of those you're gonna have to play to get like the flow of it. Copies all the burns on herself. Okay, it is a speed token. Okay, she gets a stealth and a speed token. So off the stealth, what's the purpose off the stealth? Nothing in particular, I guess. It's just nice to have the stealth, I suppose. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's thematic. It's fine. But there's nothing like inherently good in the path about stealth. Right? I'm not missing anything. I mean, it's nice to have just for defensive purposes, but deal 50% of remaining burn. Okay, so this does have a cooldown. So that has a cooldown. Smokescreen has a cooldown, or Arsonist has a cooldown. Arsonist. Firestarter, Final Answer has a cooldown. She's got some fat cooldowns, man. I mean, I know that's only 1, but 3-turn cooldown. Woof. Woof. Let's see. theoretically,
Nothing remains.
get the origin skin for some extra
save a
look.
burning will to survive.
Theoretically, it would be like... I don't think you can... I think you gotta run smokescreen. I don't think you can not run smokescreen. So something like... Will you have to sacrifice like cauterize? You might have to really get like value out of this path. Man, I don't know. Because I would think you would need... If you're going to use Dragonfly... I guess that's the question, is are you using Dragonfly or not? Because if she's just stationary, then it'd be something like... Oh, man, I don't know. Something like that? I guess? I guess you wouldn't need Ransack. So something like that? And then she just kind of sits in place? And then you could, like... Yeah, I'll have to play that. So you would, like, copy... You would, like, Firefly, copy the burn to her, or something? Maybe Dragonfly is a smarter option for that if you're going full value. And then you can transfer the Hearthlight. Yeah, there's a lot of burn going around. Yeah, I just wonder how much value you're going to get out of this in, like, a fight. In, like, a normal fight. I don't know. This will have to play. This seems like a very, like, kind of rhythmic path that you're going to have to kind of get used to. I'm not even sure I can really see too much about it. Then if you double... I guess you would double the remaining burn and then transfer it somewhere. Yeah, there's a lot of like tossing around. There's a lot of tossing around. I might have to see that. There's definitely like some synergies in here. Something like this. And then you could decide whether you want to do Firefly or Searing Strike. If you're running Dragonfly, you'll probably have to run Ransack, so you have to make some decisions. There's some decisions to be made. Interesting path. I wonder how strong that feels. Oh, we can look at the trinkets too. I wonder how strong that feels. Because it's not damage really based. So it's very much the dot. So I mean it's very much gonna see how the dot looks. Oh, it's plus 15% crit. Okay, it just said plus 15%. Plus 15% crit when stealthed. Okay, interesting. I really like the res piercing. I really like that res piercing. Then gain when moved by enemy. It could be pretty bad in the bad situation, in the right situation. You could get stunned off of that, actually, double days. That's something to consider. You'd almost have to consider the region of the match that you're in at that point. Gain on burn resist. Stealth. So this is kind of non-arsonist path. This one dealt when target has negative token. Depending on the team. I just wonder how that feels to play. This doesn't seem that great, to be honest. But depending on, I think on the right team, maybe it is. Yeah, I don't... Blanket doesn't seem that great. But we'll have to see. I might be underestimating it. Because I said the same thing about, which one was it? The Scalded Skull. But man, that adjacent allies on turn start, that middle runner right there, add one positive token and self-burn. Man, that feels great. I said when I looked at this that I didn't seem that great. Man, that adding positive tokens though, I mean, assuming he's in rank 2 or 3 where you can get double value out of it, that's nice. So it's entirely possible that when I play it and when I test it, maybe Blanket feels a little better. I don't know. That's another one. Do you pay 65 baubles for that? I don't know. If you have like Confessor or something on your team, something Maniac, something like constantly plus out negative tokens, I could see that. Another one that's good versus bosses. Let's see. Pile of Ash gets dodge or dodge plus. Apply to attacker when missed, shuffle, and then gain when hit knockback 1. I wonder, that knockback 1 I could see being pretty frustrating. I could see it being pretty frustrating. But if she's in rank 3 or 4, maybe not. And if you have Ransack alongside that. I like to apply to attacker when missed. That's kind of funny. That really goes well with like the smoke screen. I could see that being good in the right situation. Yeah, we might need the right situation for that. Carved Toy I really like. Yeah, Carved Toy I really like. Pile of Ash I like. Knitted Blanket we'll have to see. Yeah, usually those things end up being a little better than I think, so when I play them. Alright, gameplay. Disable the 1.5 combat audio when increasing the game speed and move it to the dam as a toggleable option. Does that mean Confession or Kingdoms doesn't get it? Badge. We wanted to start testing the game speed feature with synced audio. Many players reported it sounded a little too goofy, and those we want to try it out for a week. For a week with the audio remains at 1. I did think it sound goofy, but I probably could just get used to it. I'm not a guy that's gonna run the double combat speed anyways, personally. That means that some animations will be out of sync with the audio. Oh god, I hate that. I'd rather have I'd rather have everything being right. That's gonna throw me off. I'll test it out, but yeah, I'm not a big combat speed anyways. Please play and let us know if this is more distracting than the audio being sped up. If you want to try it with audio sped up, we put that as an option now in the dam. So if it's in the dam, it's not in Kingdoms. Kingdoms players suffer. Weak tokens applied to heroes on entering death doors reduced from 2 to 1. Oh. There are a handful of changes to compensate for the new weak token functionality. There'll be additional changes in future builds. Okay. So that goes alongside with what ended up being, I said I didn't know if it was a buff or nerf at the time. Ended up being a buff for weak tokens. Weak tokens ended up being stronger. So the fact that there's only one now kind of makes sense. Obsession max loathing effect. Chance for random negative quirk reduced from 100% to 50% and no longer has the chance to apply Shattered Will. That's kind of that's kind of a random but nice change. Spiked Barricade and Weapon Rack can no longer gain positive tokens. This is pretty funny. It was pretty funny when you would move things around and the Weapon Rack would give strength token to the Barricade, but oh my god, when it got a block token is so annoying. That's good. Escalation max HP buffs will no longer affect enemy corpses or ancient adversary. Oh, adversary not getting that is good too. Cool. Carrion Eater buff. Stay winning, Carrion Eater lovers. Now, after defeating military enemies and military barricades, they'll be driven out, resulting in other factions taking over the barricade for 3 regions. Oh. This will likely be some awkward matches in the first iteration. Please provide feedback if you come any matches that are particularly frustrating or result in unpleasant gameplay. That's probably good. People have been complaining about that military faction since it came out, and it is a little slow. I like the 3-4 combo change, but yeah, these are kind of frustrating sometimes. Slight increase to military barricade route weighted chance. Military barricade routes had a weight of 1 or 28 since they lacked variety. With the change to factions appearing in military barricades, the weighted chance has been increased from 1 to 2. While Gaunt's weighted chance was reduced from 3 to 2 in order to maintain the same ratio of combat routes to other routes. We're going to see more barricade fights, but there's going to be more whatever now. More variation in them. A Shambozite Trinket increased crit buff per stress from 2% to 5%. Wow, so you can get plus 45% crit if you're on 9 stress. That's crazy. Even at 5, that's plus 25%. That is crazy. That seems like a shit ton of crit. Damn. Selfish Motivation Trinket now only applies blind, immobilized, taunt, or vulnerable on turn start. So what is there that wasn't before? I think I'm blanking. The Goops applying slimed when targeting heroes has been changed to targeting ally instead. Different. Anyways. Mustache Cream Trinket, extra action when targeting heroes has been changed to targeting ally instead, and chance increased from 33 to 50. God damn. God damn. That's ridiculous. The first time I got that trinket, I think it was with Sergeant, if I remember right. The Sergeant, Bello, and Retribution hit everybody in front of him. And I was just, that's crazy. They buffed that. Junior said Trinket removing 1 negative token and removing combo when targeting hero has been changed to targeting ally instead. I guess if I'm thinking I guess targeting ally that counts as the militia? I believe. Is that what I'm missing? The peasant militia? Or like, yeah, I guess that's what it is. I mean, cool. That's good. I guess that's what it is. Add dodge when targeting heroes been changed to targeting ally instead. Increased chance from 20 to 33. Really good. That's a really, really efficient on either intermezzo or virtuoso, just by the volume that you're targeting allies. That's really, really good. Undeserved commendation. Add crit when targeting heroes have been changed to ally and increase the chance from 10 to 15. Great. Those percentages are big buff changes. That's crazy. I'm interested why they did that. Man at Arms Kingdom's final hero upgrade, removing all weak tokens and targeting hero, has been changed to target ally instead. So yeah, this must be peasant militia. That's the only thing I can think of when it would be an ally. Not counting like mods. Annotated textbooks. When targeting heroes, been changed to targeting ally instead. And chance to invert 1 negative token reduced from 100 to 65. Reduced chance for vuln token from 100 to 33. Like I say, they nerfed the overall potency of that. Buffs that provide effects when targeting a hero were always intended to target allies. We didn't have the functionality at the time. It created unintended situations such as passing turns, as that's considered a skill that's targeting the performer. They've all been updated to function similarly, with some chances adjusted to compensate for the reduced targeting options. Okay, so the purpose of that is to not have it work on self, I believe. Okay. Well, I think I'm still right, though. I think it still will work on the peasant heroes. I don't think they're counted as heroes. They are allies. I don't think they're heroes. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But okay, so all of this stuff is just so it doesn't work on pass heals. Okay. Or self stuff. But they did, but those percentage buffs are crazy. Entropic enemy battle sum modifier. Chance to add a random token to turn in, reduced from 100% to 50%. I think that seems a little boring to me. But there is 4 enemies, so 4 enemies constantly getting tokens at the end of turns could be crazy if they all get speed or something. The Jinx quirk now more rare and can no longer be obtained from inns. What does more rare mean? I wonder if they took it out of... Maybe did they take it out of a couple academic studies, maybe? Because that was the main way to get it, other than getting from inns. Hey, Disarmor quirk. Now less rare and can be obtained from inns. Disarmor. Nice. My trivia question. Every time I get Disarmor is just to ask my chat, what is Disarmor? And do you guys know what Disarmor does? Probably not, because it's one of the rarest quirks in the game. I think you get them from 2 academic studies, and what it is it's a 10% chance to apply a weak token on hit. So it's kind of like budget Jinx, but you can only get it from 2. I believe it's whatever the A-bomb academic study is, the guy, the thing in the corner. I think it's thing in the corner and thought experiment, I believe, is the only way you can get Disarmor. I could be wrong, but you can get it from inns now, so less rare. So yeah, so I'm guessing they added it. They took away Jinx probably from a couple and added Disarmor to some academic studies, if I had to guess. Unless maybe they added it to like combat items or something, or in items. I don't know. Shattered Will quirk has been removed from quirk options when choosing to fight the Shambler. We are considering removing all quirk options when choosing to fight the Shambler. People complain. I saw so many complaints about this, and it is fair. Like, you fight the Shambler and you're like, why is my will shattered? I don't know, it makes sense like thematically, but I think in practice it was probably really frustrating. Lesson learned memory crit increase from +3 to +5. Along recovery memory, disease resist increase from 15 to 25. Oh, the cat food buff from 6 to 4. Cat food buff. Okay. Invigorating intoxicant combat item no longer provides a speed or crit buff on death's door. Now has remove all weak on use. Use death blow res buff duration increase from 3 to 5 turns, and when entering death's door, remove all weak. Shout out to whoever in the Darkest Dungeon Discord. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head who did that, but shout out to whoever said that. Somebody specifically was like, I see invigorating intoxicant as a good way of adding remove weak. And so they got their things put in the game, and they get 0 credit from me because I don't remember their name, but that was a good idea, and I'm glad that they added that. That's cool. So it just remove weak and the duration. I did like the speed and crit on death's door thing. I don't know. I guess as long as it gets it more likely it probably trolled you. Because you use on somebody that's dot res and then they die to a 90 anyway. So added damn option for battle managed modifiers to always appear where appropriate. Oh, okay. That's an interesting kind of thing that's not on a torch, but kind of interesting. Current confession icon now displayed at the crossroads. About time. Shout out to people that didn't play this game for 2 weeks and then came back, tried to figure out what the hell was going on. Death's Head trinkets. Reworked effects that are now randomized, including on-kill effects. Each trinket will now have 1 on Death's Door effect, 1 on leaving Death's Door effect, and 1 on Killing Blow effect. Oh, wow. Interesting. Mortal Ward now has on leaving Death's Door crit token dodge plus token -2 stress. Let's look at those again in the tooltips. What is it? What do the tooltips say on here? Oh, okay. So they changed. Okay. We'll have 1 random. Okay, so if I'm understanding that correctly. If I'm understanding this correctly. There are these 5 Death's Heads that I'm showing you right now. There are 5 on entering Death's Door. There are 5 on leaving Death's Door, and there are 5 on Killing Blow. So those are randomized. So those are not in sets of trios like they are when you look at this, but they're actually randomized, I believe. So you might get on entering Death's Door, remove weak, and then you might get this one's leaving Death's Door, the extra actions, and then you might get this one's Killing Blow, if I understand that correctly. That wording is weird. Anyways, we'll look at them anyway. We'll figure them out. On entering Death's Door, stupid, actually, to get stealth. On leaving next door, extra action and gain on killing blow -2. Wow, those are nuts. On entering death's door, remove dots. Very good. On leaving death's door, add 2 positive tokens. Gain on killing blow 2 stealth. That could be crazy depending on the hero. Like Runaway, or yeah, Runaway or Grave Robber. Damn. On entering death's door, remove weak, stealth, block plus. On leaving death's door, plus 10% damage, plus 3% crit, and 1 speed for the entire battle. I wonder if there's any situation where you're bouncing on and off death's door. Could you do that? I mean, like Flagellant, I guess. He can put himself there. I don't know. Gain on killing blow, remove negative tokens. Ow. On entering death's door, 2 stealth, -2 stress. Okay, that one's the same as the first, except it has a different killing blow thing. Are the death's heads still here, down here? No. Yeah, I don't know how the death's head work. I was a little confused. So there are 5 options? I don't know. Anyways, randomized options. We'll figure them out when we play them, I'm sure. So those are pretty good. It's about time that those got reworked. So that's really good. That is very good. Mortal Ward, I wanted to look at. Mortal Ward is... Mortal Ward, right there. On entering... Okay, so it's on entering and leaving. Okay. Still not totally sure when that's like a trinket you would buy. Still very good, though. Seems like it. Unless you're against Act 3, and Act 3 takes the tokens as you get them. So that's pretty interactive. Alright, any interesting fixes? Weak token description to better describe new functionality. Deals half damage. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Token glossary, la la la. They fixed the glossary a little bit. And then some general stuff. Okay. Interesting. So, Runaway, I don't have any idea how she's going to feel. Yeah, the only thing I can think of, the stacks, on full stacks, pretty crazy. Plus 6 speed and plus 3 burn dealt is pretty crazy. I guess the question just becomes, how often can you keep that up? And like, when do you do copy and those kind of stuff? I guess that's the big question. So I'll definitely have to try that out. Definitely have to try that out. Interesting. I like the thematicism of like burning her and stuff. It's a bit too I don't know. I have no idea how that plays. Like when you would use backdraft, when you would use fire starter. Again, the cooldowns on like this is a 3 cooldown. I know it's 2 when you master it, but that's a 3 cooldown. Backdraft is a cooldown. Hearthlight's a cooldown. Like, I wonder how often you can actually pop this stuff up. And especially with cooldowns like this, longer cooldowns, that makes it even less likely that you can get into a normal fight. So I wonder how good that'll feel in just like a regular fight that lasts maybe 6-7 rounds. And then that's okay. If it's like a bot, if it's something that does just really well against like Kyrurgeon and bosses, that's totally okay. But I do wonder about people's opinions because of that. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. I think it's gonna be an interesting patch. If nothing else, we have the origin skins. Yay! Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching my video and listening to me yap. I appreciate it very much. If you could subscribe and tell me and comment and all that stuff, or stop by my stream or any of that, I would appreciate it. I hope you all have a nice rest of your day, and I hope we enjoy the patch. Have a nice day.